Hello guys, and welcome back to League One predictions, a slightly different one to usual as we've got 8 games to predict for this weekend, and then we're also going to predict 7 League One games that are taking place on Tuesday next week. Sorry for the confusion, but because of the FA Cup weekend, it's all split up over the next few days. I'm joined as always by the wonderful Benjamin Bloom. How are you?
I'm good, mate. Lots to talk about in League One. Couple of managerial hires. We don't want to, kind of call the FA Cup a nuisance, but it is a little bit. But remember, for the League One teams in the FA Cup, could be a nice big payday at the weekend as well. So, yeah, looking forward to it, Matt.
Yeah, and can we just take a minute to appreciate how nice Ben is looking today? Look at that outfit. Honestly, I love it. And
I did a wardrobe clear out, Matt, and I thought I need to wear this nonsense or throw it away, so I'm wearing it.
Yeah, you took the right decision there, Ben. And while you were talking about the FA Cup, good luck to the teams from League One that are in FA Cup action this weekend. I'm looking forward to Birmingham, Newcastle, and Leyton, Orient, Man City in particular. That's a really juicy one. So like I say, there's 8 games to predict for the weekend. Then we're going to quickly go through the ones in midweek. The scores from last week are here, where I beat Ben 10-7. So it just opens up that gap a little bit more. There's a couple of decent predictions in there. Ben, you managed to get Wigan 1, Lincoln 1. I managed to bet Shrewsbury 2-1 and Birmingham 2-1. So a couple of bob-ons there, and it's still quite close between us. And then the final thing, before we get into the predictions, is to support us, guys. Please be sure to drop a like. Your support has been amazing on the League One predictions again, so keep it coming. And make sure to subscribe to both myself and Benjamin Bloom. The first link in the description is where you can find Ben's channel, and make sure to check it out. On to the predictions, Ben, where I will let you go first for Mansfield Town versus Northampton Town. Northampton with an incredible win against Huddersfield last week. Mansfield lost to 10-man Shrewsbury.
Yeah, it's quite a curveball to start with, isn't it? Maybe we can land on Mansfield being at home as a help, as the kind of final tipping point. But yeah, brilliant win. I just clicked up on Northampton there. They were 3-0 up as well. Is that right? Against Huddersfield. That's sensational. And Mansfield, 4 defeats on the bounce now, really sort of sliding now 14th position after, they might have even been second at one point. They were definitely in the top 3, weren't they, Mansfield? Had a sensational run at the start of the season. Maybe I need to call it down the middle. I'm tempted to call the Mansfield win here, but I feel that might be a bit unfair on Northampton. So should we go for the draw? And we'll go for the classic high score in Mansfield over 2.5 goals. So we'll go for a Desmond to start us off, Matt. Mansfield 2, Northampton 2.
Yeah, I quite like that. I'm also going for 4 goals, but I'm actually going to go Mansfield 3-1, which might come as a little bit of a surprise given the form of Mansfield. But look, full credit to Northampton last week, but it's one game in isolation. Otherwise, their form's not been great. If they build on it, fair play to them. But I think this is also quite a nice game for Mansfield to bounce back. And Clough's going to want a reaction after last week, losing to 10 men. So yeah, sorry, Northampton. I'm going to go for the Mansfield win. I just think, like you said, Ben, the home advantage is maybe tipping it for me. Where if this was at Sixfields, maybe I'd go for Northampton, but I'll go for Mansfield to get the bounce back. So we've got 2-2 and 3-1. And then we go to the Valley, Ben. The 2 teams in decent form. You've got Charlton, who've picked up 10 points in 4, and Stevenage, who've won their last 3. I think Charlton were unlucky not to beat Blackpool. I think they conceded late on. Stevenage, relentless against Exeter City. 4-1 win. And what a great week it's been for them, Ben. 9 points, considering they'd also won away at Barnsley and Wrexham. So I've got to give Stevenage something, but I don't think I'll back Charlton to lose. So I'm going to go down the middle here, Ben. Going to go 1-1.
Yeah, I can see it, Matt. Do you know what? I am going to back Charlton, but with the acknowledgement, what a run Stevenage run. We did big them up in the last show as well, for not for their recent form, for their performance all season. Frankly, I just like Charlton at the moment, and especially at home, I'm going to back them for the win. So I'll take a 2-1 in favour of the Addicts.
2-1 Charlton. It's fascinating, isn't it, looking at the top of League One here, Ben? You've got 4 teams queuing up on 44 points, which goes from 6th down to 9th. And then Stevenage on 40 points with a game or 2 in hand. So
stop it.
We'll see. We'll see. We go to Stockport next, Ben. You're first for Stockport v Barnsley. Stockport are fourth now.
Brilliant. Yeah, 4 wins on the trot for Stockport, and they halted the blockage for the Orient Express as well, which is no mean feat. Nobody else has been meaning to do that. And to your point about the the log jam there between 10th and 6th, at the bottom of that log jam are Barnsley, who we did not expect to be there, did we? So, I think all logic. I mean, I know it's the EFL. All logic says I've got to back Stockport, haven't I? So let's go for. So that would be a 5th straight win for Challoner, yeah. If it's Stockport at home, Matt, it's always a 1-0, isn't it? Stockport 1, Barnsley 0.
Oh, I like it. Stockport 1, Barnsley 0. Thankfully, not a scribble. I am going for Stockport, though. I just think with Barnsley, you guaranteed goals. Having said that, they drew 0-0 last week, but I'm going 2-1 Stockport here, Ben. What a win, yeah, to win away at Leyton Orient, who'd been in such good form. And then Barnsley 0-0 against Burton. It brought to an end to their losing run, but it's not really going to move them in the right direction. Incredible amount of traffic around the playoffs, Ben. And if Stockport win this, they'd go 10 points clear of Barnsley. So that would be a real statement. And we associate
Do you know what,
Barnsley.
Matt? Sometimes I like teams that know they're going to be in the playoffs. I don't think Stockport are going to be sat there thinking, right, we're going for top 2. I think they can really, really prep themselves. I know they lost in the play. I was at the game, actually. Lost in the playoff final in League 2, didn't they, to Carlisle on penalties, wasn't it? Yeah.
That's right.
But I think they're going to know what their job is from a long way out in terms of it's going to be tournament football. And sometimes I feel those teams are better prepped than the ones, that cliche of the ones that were aiming for automatics and, maybe then had to reset their plans when they missed out.
Yeah, it's a very good point. Stockport have been pushing in the right direction for a couple of years. And I think you make the point sometimes about championship teams, say Brentford, for example, or Brighton, a couple of near misses in the playoffs, and then they go up and they feel like they're ready for the Premier League at that point. And it feels like that with Stockport. You felt coming into this season they'd be a good League One team, and incredible to see them. Imagine if we get a Stockport Wrexham playoff final, Ben, the two teams that have come up from League Two last season. That's been incredible.
That's not beyond the realms of possibility, mate, is it?
Yeah, looks very realistic. Another team that we associate with the playoffs, Ben, are Bolton. They are at home to Crawley. Let's have a little look. So Crawley, 1 win in 6. They're sort of picking up a result when you least expect it. So maybe they get one here.
Nearly got something against Wrexham, didn't they? It's a really late goal that won it for Wrexham.
I think Crawley equalised on 90, and then Wrexham scored like 90 plus 5. Yeah, so nearly snatched something. As for Bolton, they lost 1-0 to Reading, but they have improved otherwise. So I will go 2-0 Bolton.
Yeah, and we've got Stephen Schumacher in at Bolton now, haven't we? So I don't know. Was he in situ for this past game? I don't know if you can Google that while we go, whether he's starting, whether we're going to apply any new manager bounce going forward, because more often than not, they give them, they say they're going to start on Monday after whatever game they're doing. So, I will. Sorry, did you predict, or am I going first?
I've gone 2-0 Bolton. And
you've gone 2-0 Bolton.
To add to your point, Ben, he was head coach for the Reading game, yes.
Oh, so no new manager bounce. Okay, delayed new manager bounce then maybe. But yeah, Schumacher at this level, miraculous 100 points with Plymouth, wasn't it? I quite like your 2-0 actually, Matt. I'll give Crawley a goal then because I can't have that. Bolton 2, Crawley 1. Nice.
There you go. Bolton 2, Crawley 1. And we're both backing them in what is a very crazy playoff race in League One. The next team, next up we've got Burton Albion at home to Blackpool, Ben. Blackpool, I think we can still count them in the playoff race, 6 points off.
You count everybody in the playoff race, don't you?
Well, in this division, it's very, very, very open. And Blackpool have gone a few games unbeaten. They keep roaring, but a few wins in there. But they're playing Burton, Ben, and Burton 10 points in 4, 5 games unbeaten.
Yeah, they've both got unbeaten runs on this little form table I've got up in front of me. So it's a bit of a strange one because, it's not like we see either or even both of these sides as, I think we both see them as quite sort of erratic and quite up and down. And unpredictable, which probably means there'll be a decisive result. So I don't necessarily want to land on the draw here. Oh, crikey. I don't know why, but I'm going to take Blackpool. I've got no rationale for it. I feel Blackpool and both teams to score. So I'll play for the bonus point as well. Then we'll go for a silly one. You know what's coming. You know there's a 3-2 coming, don't you? Burton 2, Blackpool 3, with very little logic, Burton and Blackpool fans in there. Feel free to add sense to that in the comments.
I like it, Ben. I thought it was going to be a scribble for a second because I've also gone Blackpool win, both teams to score, and I'm playing it slightly safer with the 2-1.
Winning coming then.
Yeah, that's it. We've doomed Blackpool. But it's interesting, isn't it? We're both looking at this and you think, well, they both haven't lost in a while. Both have had a few draws. Maybe a draw would be the safe bet, but we don't want to sit on the fence here. So we're both going for the away win. Do share your thoughts, Burton and Blackpool fans. Both have been decent recently, and Burton 5 points from safety still, but you know the way they're scoring points at the moment, they are closing that gap. Ben, it's Huddersfield Town next versus Reading, and Huddersfield are in some poor form now, aren't they?
Haven't they done this before this season? Had a weird run of 3 or 4 games where you think that doesn't make much sense, but 3 straight defeats, right?
Yeah, so it's gone from them being in the automatic race to can they secure their playoff place? I mean, I think they should, given the quality they've got there, and they've had a decent transfer window, but the form it's been a really decisive week, as I say. You can't go 4 games without winning, 1 point in 4 in a promotion race.
Well, if you look at Stockport next to them, over 4 games, Stockport have taken 11 points out of Huddersfield, which is ridiculous when you think about it.
Yeah, it is. It is. And they play Reading, Ben, who got back to winning ways last week, 1-0 against Bolton. Reading will be looking to build on that with something here. And I can see, Huddersfield fans are obviously going to want to win, but I can see them maybe getting a draw to then build on. I'm going to go 0-0.
I'm going to take Huddersfield. I've been quite high on Huddersfield all season. So my narrative is that it's going to be a bounce back, and I think the home advantage is going to be helpful. Although, to be fair, I think check me in the comments. I think I probably backed Bolton to beat Reading last week as well. So Reading had me wrong there. Maybe they'll have me wrong again, but I will go. Let's go 2-0. Huddersfield 2, Reading 0. Bit of a bounce back, bit of a reset with the window closed, and go for it now. That's the sense for everyone when the window closes, isn't it? Right. Here's the squad. Shut the door. Go.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And they have been good for most of this season. So you can imagine they'll find that formula again. But yeah, it's been a poor week from Huddersfield. Ben, the next game is Lincoln City versus Cambridge United. Cambridge are bottom after Shrewsbury's win. Cambridge got a draw at the weekend. Lincoln City also drew at the weekend. Lincoln a little bit spotty at the moment. You're up first for this. I'm sure you're probably going to back Lincoln, though. Yeah,
I feel a bit sorry for Cambridge because they drew against Wickham, and you end up bottom of the table, courtesy of Shrewsbury's win. But I think you and I are both pleased that the pace has picked up a little bit. Admit it was a low bar, but but you got to admit, looking at that bottom 4, there's more wins than you would expect to see at this point of the season in the kind of last 5 graphic on the bottom 4. I'm going to give Cambridge a point here, Matt, because I agree with you. Lincoln have tailed up. I think a lot of people thought Lincoln might finish in playoffs this season, didn't they? A really good last season and get particularly good kind of sort of solid, strong defensively as well, weren't they? I haven't played a 1-1 yet, so there it is. I'll go 1-1.
That's interesting, Ben. I'm going in a very different direction to you. I agree. Great point for Cambridge last week. Lincoln City have dropped off it. They had that amazing 5-1 win against Peterborough, but was that more that Peterborough are rubbish or Lincoln are good? Lincoln did score late on at Wigan last week. I don't know if that will give them a little boost and they might come into this with a bit more positivity. We got a last-minute goal. Let's try and get the win in this one. So I'm going in a very opposite direction. I'm going to go 4-1 Lincoln, Ben.
That's tremendous. I love it.
I've got to play a bonus point somewhere, and maybe they'll just think, back at home now, I've got to smash some goals in and Cambridge, there seems to be a bit of fight in them, but I tend to prefer the teams down at the bottom when they're at home. So, yeah,
agreed.
Going heavy on Lincoln there. And then the final game, Ben, I believe you were at this as a League One player final a couple of years ago. Rotherham versus Shrewsbury.
That's a great shout, isn't it? God, how things have changed since then.
Yeah, so you got Steve Evans versus Gareth Ainsworth. Rotherham lost 2-1 to Blues at the weekend. I'm sure Steve Evans was very frustrated with that, but looks like they put up a bit of a fight. Shrewsbury got the win. I mean, I was saying to Ben off camera, what a win, because they were 1-0 down with 10 men and came back to win that 2-1. That said, I do prefer Shrewsbury at home, and I don't think they've won away under Ainsworth, and Steve Evans will want the 3 points to get back on track with the playoff race. 1-0 Rotherham.
It's a difficult one to call, isn't it? You can make a pretty good narrative case for any of the three outcomes. I might just play a silly one here. I might just play a wild card and just back Shrewsbury to get the win for no reason really in particular. Whatever. I know we can say, oh well, Birmingham are just eons above everybody else, but Rotherham they also lost to Burton on the road recently, didn't they? So, yeah. You can't give the same reasoning there. Go on. We're going to do a silly wild card here. Apologies, Rotherham fans. Let's go Rotherham 1, Shrewsbury 2.
Oh, I like it. Makes things spicy down at the bottom, doesn't it, Ben? If Shrewsbury get another result. 7 points adrift, but still a game in hand, I guess we'll see. So that wraps up the games for the weekend, guys. We are going to quickly fly through some games in midweek, and then we'll catch up on League One predictions again next Wednesday, I believe. Ben, you're up first for Birmingham, Cambridge.
Ooh. It's count on my fingers how many, isn't it? Although Birmingham... we predicted for the longest time that the 3s and 4s would start to be coming about now. Go on then, let's go with that logic then. Birmingham 3, Cambridge 0. And we're going quick fire, yeah? So I won't explain why.
No, that's fine. And thankfully, it's not a scribble. I'm going for a pretty standard Birmingham 2-0. The game after, Blackpool v Rotherham. Blackpool decent for a draw. I'll go 1-1.
And I predicted a Blackpool win at Burton, didn't I? So did you? I'll take a draw. I would have liked the 1-1 actually. Let's go Desmond. Blackpool 2, Rotherham 2.
I like it. Bristol Rovers, Stockport, Ben.
Stockport. Although Bristol Rovers had a win, but I'm going to use your Peterborough caveat on that one. Unfortunately, you don't get any credit if you beat Peterborough, do you? At the moment, they're a bit of a mess. Boring. Bristol Rovers 0, Stockport 1.
Yeah, I've got Bristol Rovers 1, Stockport 2. Speaking of Peterborough, Ben, they're away at Charlton. I will go Charlton 1-0.
Yeah, I'll play for the bonus point here. Let's go silly. Charlton 4, Peterborough 2.
Where did that come from?
Nowhere.
Ben, you're up first for Crawley v Informed Stevenage.
Oh, well, you've just swayed me by saying Informed Stevenage. Crawley 0, Stevenage 2. Although I think I did predict them to lose at Charlton, didn't I? So back informed Stevenage.
Yeah, that's it. I've got Crawley 1, Stevenage 2. Then I'm up for Leyton, Orient, Mansfield. Orient might be tired after the Man City game, but I still think they'll win. I'll go 2-0 Orient.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll go 3-1. Orient 3, Mansfield 1. I think even if Orient get battered by Man City, I still think, they're in a great moment.
They are. And then the final game, you're up first, Ben. Reading versus Shrewsbury.
Well, I can't back Shrewsbury twice in one prediction show, so I'll go with Reading with a home advantage. And the real quiz for Shrewsbury is in the head-to-heads down the bottom, isn't it? So 1-0 Reading. Reading 1, Shrewsbury 0.
And I've got 2-1 Reading. So similar, but there you go. And that wraps up the midweek predictions, guys. So feel free to come back to this after the weekend if you want to predict those games as well. But like I say, myself and Ben will re-adjourn for League One after Tuesday next week. Ben, how are you feeling?
I'm feeling good about League One. I dare say we're moving to plugs. I'm not feeling good about the impending Premier League check-in podcast Matt SB and I are about to record after Ipswich's disastrous day on Saturday. Come and see my pain over at the Benjamin Bloom Football Channel.
Yeah, guys, honestly, I urge you to go over there. I'm sure you all have already, but if you haven't already, go subscribe to Benjamin Bloom, where you can see more of Ben's awesome outfits and the Premier League check-in podcast and Ben's work with Sam Parkin on the Championship. It's brilliant stuff, so head over there. Make sure you're subscribed over here as well. Drop a like. I believe I'll be back with FA Cup predictions in the next day or two. And then myself and Ben will both be at the CBS on Saturday. So Coventry take on Ipswich. You could see our video for that on Saturday evening. Otherwise, a massive thank you. We'll see you for more League One next week. Take care. Peace out.